Hello, hello. Happy Halloween. Hello, I am Mambo Soleil. I am your weekly reader. I am cover mother and vision of Dontor. I am the founder and facilitator of the Charm School Mentorship Program. And I'm a dope bitch straight up out of Oakland. Hello, hello. Come on in the room and get settled. Um, don't plan on being on here long tonight because I know it is Halloween and quite a few of you are probably out being social and doing things. But I just wanted to come on here and talk a little bit tonight. Um, so, again, as you come into the room, get settled, say hello, um, say something in the comments so that I know who's with me. Hit the scale emojis as well because that does give me energy. Let me go ahead and pause the music so that way I can hear myself talk. Um, but yeah, so I know you guys may not be used to me doing live streams back to back like this, but I couldn't decide between Astro Hour and Happy Hour this week. So I was like, Halloween is here. I might as well just do both, and I'll do Happy Hour on Halloween. Hello. Hey, Tashana. Thank you for complimenting my ears. Um, didn't plan to dress up this year. Technically didn't dress up. I'm just wearing a white dress and some ears. I'm a big kid and I have these ears anyway. So I just wanted to throw them on so that I'm a little bit in the spirit. But yeah, so happy hour is our weekly meeting where we shoot the shit. We talk, we hang out, same way you would during happy hour with your homegirls, your friends, your coworkers, etc. And so I really wanted us to talk about what we can learn from two of the biggest stories going on right now, which are the government shutdown as well as this Hurricane Melissa that has spread through. Hey, Janine, I haven't seen you at one of these in a minute. Good to see you. Um, as well as the American response with the tourist in Hurricane Melissa. Um, I think both of these things, in terms of the internet's response, the way that people in the zeitgeist are behaving, show us a lot about the empathy gap or the empathy crisis that we have in society right now. So I really wanted us to talk about that tonight. If you have your drink with you, go ahead and sip on something. If you want to take a moment to get a snack, go ahead and do that. I personally am not drinking alcohol at the moment, so I got my sparkling water in a in a wine glass so that I can feel like I'm doing something. Um, if I'm going out, if I'm at dinner, or if I'm at parties, even if I'm just at home and I'm in a situation where people are drinking and I want to feel like I'm a part of the moment, but I'm not drinking. Um, Thank you for pointing that out. The hurricane is Melissa. So I'm going to tell on myself so that I can explain that to y'all. So that I can explain that. Hold on a second. Because you're absolutely right. And even as I was talking to y'all, I was saying Melissa. Um, I'm not a good multitasker. I'm a horrible multitasker. I think you guys have heard me say that before. Um, heard me say that before here on the live. And I was literally talking to someone named named Sylvia, while I was putting together the live stream. And instead of writing Melissa, I wrote Sylvia. Those are the kind of mistakes and errors I make because I suck at multitasking. So thank you so much, Renee, for pointing that out. Hello, Aisha. Good to see you. Thank you for joining us tonight. I feel bad for anybody that's named Melissa right now. Anytime a hurricane comes out and they have that name, a specific name, I feel bad for the people with that name. You know who I feel bad for a little bit? I know a lot of black women named Karen. So once the term Karen became popular for problematic white women, I felt so bad for my friends named Karen. Um, but yeah, I want to talk about both of these things, both the government shutdown, the way that people are responding to it, the way that predatory men and racist white people are like gloating and foaming at the mouth because they're excited to see women, particularly women of color, who are mothers struggle, right? And I also want to talk, let's start with Melissa first. Have other people seen these clips going around online? I don't believe that. You read cards, watch your candle, and drop gems at the same time. So that's different because it's spirit, Nicole. I wish that, and I say this all the time, I wish that the grace that I have when I'm listening to spirit translated into my normal life. Um, it doesn't. It really doesn't. I'm a terrible multitasker. I cannot do multiple things at the same time. I have to focus. I cannot tell you how much food I've burnt, how many clothes so you guys can't see it right now, but because I was doing conjure before I got on camera, there is a massive stain on the bottom of my titty from where I was trying to put something together. My phone rang. I went to answer it, and then the next thing you know, I stained my dress. I'm not a good multitasker. I totally wish I was. Somebody said Texas weather is like an angry female changing her mind and coming back and forth and saying and another thing. Oh, that's that is hilarious. Texas weather is really, really up and down. But have people seen the clips and the reels and the TikToks going around of the ways in which American tourists that are in Jamaica are behaving in response to Hurricane Melissa? How mean they're being to staff at their hotels, how rude they're being about the access to food. There's just a really disturbing entitlement that people are displaying that are from the States who are currently stuck in Jamaica right now. There's just a really nasty way that they're behaving. Have other people seen these reels and these TikToks? Yeah, it is. It's quite ridiculous, Nicole. It's really, really shameful. It's upsetting because there's no way to behave. There's no reason to behave that way towards people. Um, the two that I keep seeing that bother me the most are the one of the woman who's making fun of the food, right? She's opening the boxes and saying, "What is this? How dare they give us pastries? We're supposed to eat this. I don't even have a microwave. Why would you give me hot food and I don't have a microwave?" And it's like, girl, what are you even talking about? What are you talking about? It's a hurricane. It's not just a hurricane. It is a Category 5 hurricane. Now, I'm going to tell myself, I've never lived in an area that's dealt with hurricanes. I don't know anything about hurricanes. So I know that for me, as soon as I started hearing people say Category 5, I went and looked that shit up. It's the worst type of hurricane. It has guaranteed catastrophe, catastrophic damage to the land, to the buildings. And you are upset because you want salmon croquettes for breakfast and you can't have that. So she was the one that pissed me off. The other video that I saw that really upset me, have you guys seen the videos of people fighting at the buffet? They had to stop opening the buffet because people were fighting each other at the buffet. People were literally running over children, running down old people, knocking over strollers to get to the buffet so that they can get to the food first. Grown men were running over toddlers and punching women in the face to get, I'm not making this up. I'm not making this up. Anybody who hears me saying this, if you haven't seen it, while I'm talking, take a second to Google Hurricane Melissa buffet fight. Google those 4 words. You will see the videos. There are people fighting at the buffets, throwing glass plates at each other because they don't want to wait to get into the buffet. And of course, it's a hurricane, right? So the hotel staff is trying to trickle people in. They're trying to have folks come in, in slow pace because there's not enough food. and they don't know how long the food is going to last. They're begging people, please take one plate, don't take two. And basically the tourists get so upset that they just start throwing bowls. They start fighting. Yes, this is a real thing. People say, you know, my mouth was open, my mouth was agape. I dropped my jaw as a form of expression. This was one of the first times that I watched something and I actually dropped my jaw. I could not believe what I was seeing. I could not believe that people were behaving that way. What they doing, and that means they know what they're doing, and it means they're showing their true colors. How embarrassing. But see, here's the thing. This is why it's a part of the empathy crisis, right? Because when you don't recognize the humanity in other people, regardless of how close those people are to you, you know, whether it's skin color, race, whatever, regardless how close those people are to you, if you don't see the humanity in other people, then you mistreat them and you think it's okay. Let me give you guys the definition of what I call the empathy crisis. Another word for empathy crisis is empathy deficit. You guys have probably heard that phrase before, and it refers to a collective inability to feel, respond to, or act on the suffering of others, right? So again, people that you've othered. It's hard for you to have sympathy for them. It's hard for you to see their humanity. It's hard for you to care for what they're going through, i.e. these American tourists that are in Jamaica barking at the staff because they want ribs. And they're angry that they're being given granola bars and pastries when that's all they're running out of food at the hotel. That's all they have left to give people, right? But again, when you don't see the humanity in other people and all you think about, I remember I said this phrase to somebody when I was I don't want to get into that, but I was trying to get them to, and that's when I realized that the person was a flying monkey. They didn't really care about me. All they wanted was to get information about my business to take it back to my abuser. I was telling them, I was like, I don't want to talk to this person because they don't see me as a human anymore. They just see me as a concept. I'm an avatar to them. And they were like, what are you saying? That doesn't make any sense. And I'm like, when you see someone as a human, you treat them with dignity. When you don't see someone as a human, you belittle them, you make fun of them, you degrade them. And to this person, I'm an avatar. And then they just acted like I was the most insane person on the planet. But that's what's happening right now. They don't see these Jamaican citizens as actual human beings worthy of dignity and respect. They're just there to give them a good time. And I'm gonna be real, these people ain't got no fucking money. Because if you had money and you weren't, and this is another thing related to the empathy crisis. It's like, this is why the Hurricane Melissa thing is so interesting to me, because it's the intersection of the empathy crisis and flex culture. You have a whole bunch of people who just wanted to take vacation to flex. They wanted to have pretty pictures to stun on people back here in the States, but they ain't really got no fucking money like that. So what do people who like to flex who don't really have money do? They try to find the cheapest shit possible. When is it the cheapest to go into the Caribbean? During hurricane season. If you had real money and if you had any God-given sense, you would not have made travel plans to be in a Caribbean island during hurricane season. Did people know that the hurricane was going to be a Category 5? No. Did they know it was going to be that bad? Absolutely not. But again, absolutely no money, no backup plan. These people had enough money to do exactly what they were hoping to do, was to get their ass to Jamaica at the cheapest resort that they could find that still looked beautiful and stunt on people and take videos and fucking that's why they're angry about the food. Of course you're angry that people are giving you lunch boxes and that you can't be at this extravagant buffet with piles of lobster and shit, because that's what you wanted. You wanted to be able to take pictures of that and send it on your Instagram or send it back to your friends at home and stunt on them. So this is a really interesting intersection between flex culture and the empathy gap. And the second they got there and they didn't get what they want, they started mistreating people. They started talking shit about the country. They're barking on. employees that are not with their own families to make sure that the people at that hotel are okay. Employees whose homes are probably fucked up and they're at work. My head goes off to Caribbean people and their commitment to being dedicated to their work and doing a good job. Because I can't say that I would still be at work during a hurricane taking care of ungrateful people. I can't say that I would do it. I really cannot. I can't say it. And they're complaining about the food. They're complaining about the fact that the staff won't let them leave the resort. Nigga, trees are falling out the sky, quite literally. And you're angry at the quality of food and you want to leave the resort. First of all, where the fuck are you going to go to get another meal? It's a hurricane. And if they were to let you leave and a tree or a truck falls on you, then they're liable. Did you just see the buffet fight? Absolutely, absolutely disgusting. Absolutely just heartbreaking. Heartbreaking. The one I saw, there was a guy and he was telling his kids, come back, don't go over there. They're going to run over you. Come back, come this way. Don't let them trample you. I couldn't imagine being a parent there with my child and watching grown men run over my toddler or knock over my toddler because they're getting into a fight at a buffet. It's disgusting. But it's related to the empathy. We have a crisis of empathy. We have a severe crisis of empathy, and I want to say it's specific to America, but it's not. When you look at the rise of fascism happening in Italy, when you look at the ways that the citizens of Australia are treating each other, it's really bad. Worldwide, we have an empathy deficit, and it's a breakdown between the bridge of you and other people, or the individual and other people. It's a function of hyper individualism, and the spiritual cost of it, the energetic costs of it are high. It's disgusting. And with the government shutdown, with the economy crashing further and further, with money getting fucked up, with more and more people either getting fired or unable to find work, it's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse. People are only going to get nastier. Nicole, I'm in my truck screaming. It's disgusting. It's heartbreaking to see how people are behaving. Children get... Last night when I got off of here and I was talking to my interests, that's what I'll call him. And I was talking to him. That was the first thing he said. He was like, if those were real niggas, they would have asked everybody to get out of the way and let everybody under the age of 12 go into that buffet first. It would have been everybody under the age of 12, then the women, and then everybody else. That's how it should have been. But again, empathy crisis. No one has dignity. No one gives a fuck about your children. The way in this society, people only see children as accessories, and they will treat children bad based on who they think the parents are or how they see the parents. It's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse. And I hate to say it. I hate to even recognize that that's a reality. I forgot I had my earplug in. I was like, why do I hear? Why is Kaylani whispering to me? But yeah, I'd hate to see them on the Titanic. See, here's the thing. These are people that can't survive in any other situation. They wouldn't be able to survive in any other situation. That has broken my heart to see. Because again, as Black people, we don't get treated well in this country. We don't get treated well in America. And so to see people, this is why I hate passport bros. It's not just because they're colorist and weird and have fucked up things to say about American Black women. I hate people whose idea is, I'm not doing well the way I want to in this country, so I'm going to go to another country and become the oppressor and mistreat other people over there. And that's heartbreaking. It's really, really disgusting to know the ways in which we get mistreated here in this country and to go to a Black country and mistreat the people there who are taking care of them. Absolutely disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Let's talk about the government shutdown. Let's talk about the government shutdown. Let's talk about the online responses with people on I between seeing white people post nasty things about Black women eating crab legs and how they're grateful that SNAP is ending because Black bitches aren't going to get their crab legs, between seeing Black men and brown men joke about the fact that, oh, the government is breaking up with you, you got to come back to us now, you going to depend on us now, you better get ready to eat beans. It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. And it's not just heartbreaking because of the vitriol and the nastiness and the disgusting energy behind it. It's the ignorance, right? This shutdown and the further abuses that this Trump administration is going to put this country through, it's going to hurt a lot of people. It's going to hurt everybody. Not just Black women, not just women with children, not just women in general, not just poor people. I have clients that I work with, people that I work with. I have people that I work with that just last year, this time, had $150,000, $200,000 salaries. And they are now in the position where they have to rely on pantries. They have to rely on food banks. They're crying because they're not going to have access to their food stamps. Most people in this country are one paycheck away. They are one missed rent payment away. They are one late paycheck away from poverty. That's everybody. Whether you make $40,000 a year, whether you make $150,000 a year, whether you make $200,000 a year. Again, I just told you, multiple clients I work with had six-figure salaries this time last year and are now in positions where they have to go to food banks. They don't know where their next meal is going to come from. They are fearful that they won't make rent. It can happen to anybody. And rather than people understanding that this government shutdown is an equalizer, it is an abuse tactic to show us that anybody can get it. Instead of people understanding that because of the empathy deficit, the empathy crisis, people are using this as an opportunity to be oppressive and to make fun of each other. There's also going to be a really big mental health cost that happens as a result of this. Poverty, especially when you are somebody who's capable of taking care of yourself and who typically works, and you're pushed into poverty, you're pushed into unemployment, you're pushed into hyperdependence on government resources, that fucks with your mental health. It absolutely does. And the same rise in depression and suicidal thoughts that we saw during COVID, we're going to see it even worse now. We're going to see a return to that. We're going to see a rise in domestic violence. It's already happening. It's about to get really bad. And the empathy crisis makes it worse because instead of people having heartfelt feelings for people who are dealing with and suffering through this, the people who have $5 in their bank account and who have a little bit of food in their fridge are online making fun of other people who don't. It's really disgusting. It's really disgusting. I don't know if you guys knew this happened, but do y'all remember that when COVID happened and the shutdowns took place and people couldn't work? So the national shutdown happened in March. Starting in May, there started to get a rise in reports of women who were dealing with their landlords soliciting them for sex because they couldn't pay for their rent. It happened a lot. And I think we're going to see that happen again, unfortunately. I think that predatory men, I think that racist white people, I think that, and not just racist white people, even people of color who have internalized white supremacist thoughts are about to get really, really nasty. And it's about to get more and more disgusting. And the only thing that will stop people from being mean, from saying these horrible things, is when it becomes their turn. That's the only thing. They're calling her online the peanut butter toast lady. I don't know if you saw her, but she was this white woman and she was eating peanut butter toast while talking shit about people who get SNAP benefits. And she was saying that, it's your fault because you use your SNAP benefits to buy unhealthy food. I mean, you see me, I'm eating peanut butter with toast on it. I'm eating toast with peanut butter on it. This is a fine meal. Why can't you just eat this way? You shouldn't be living off of the government anyway, right? You know what happened to her? 2 days later, when her job saw that video, they fucking fired her. If you are blessed to have gainful employment and you are stupid enough to get on TikTok and talk shit about people, you deserve to lose your job. I don't feel bad for her. I don't feel bad for anybody else that's doing stupid shit on TikTok right now, especially if that stupid shit involves shitting on poor people. I wrote a post a day or two ago, I don't remember if it was yesterday or the day before, about one of the fucked up things that Reagan did was through his smear campaign of Black women, he really tied the image of SNAP benefits, of food stamps, to the image of Black women. And even though Black households only make up 20% of the people who receive SNAP benefits, and white households make up 47%, that's damn near half. White people are so racist, especially poor white people. They are so just deeply committed to being above Black people, particularly Black women, that people are going to sit around and advocate for this. Even though, again, one missed paycheck away from needing public benefits, one late payment away from being at a food line. I've seen the clips of government workers, and these are people that are still working, but because they have not received paychecks in a month, I've seen the videos of government employees standing in line in food banks and crying in tears because they work hard and they still have to rely on food pantries. So think about that. Government employees still got to go to work, even though they're not being paid. And because they have jobs, they can't even get SNAP benefits. Their only option is to go to food pantries and get whatever's left over. This is a time where we should have more care for other people. This is a time where we should be investing in mutual aid. If you are not reaching out to people in your community and figuring out, don't donate to the Red Cross because that shit's problematic. But if you're blessed enough to have a little bit of overflow, turn around and buy a Trader Joe's or a Kroger or a Publix gift certificate and give it to a family that you know doesn't have food right now. These should be the things that we're doing. But instead, because of this empathy crisis, because people are so hungry, so spiritually broken, that all they want is the opportunity to stunt on and shit on someone else. Because that's what happens when you have a lack of empathy. When you can't see the humanity in your neighbor, when you can't have care for the person next to you, and you have deep insecurities rooted within you, you see their pain as an opportunity to shit on them. And that's why we have grown people, grown men. Some of these grown men, they need to shut the fuck up, because the amount of grown men that I know that are homosexuals, the amount of grown men that I know that have not had their own place to rest their head, some for months, some for years, and are talking shit about people who rely on public assistance, shame on you. Shame on you. It sucks because some people need to be humbled to change their mind frame. Sad it takes something drastic to happen to them before they react or sympathize with normal people. Baby, I'm telling you, some people are so lost that even when life humbles them, even when they find themselves being grown men who their only asset in this world is a car in their dick, they will still talk shit about other people. I'm telling you that there are women out there that even though their salary puts them below the poverty line and they could actually benefit from some SNAP, they're still going to talk shit about other people because they hate themselves. The empathy crisis has broken people spiritually. And these spiritually broken people are gloating over the pain that they're seeing in other people. And even when they fall, even when they hit what would be rock bottom to someone else, they're still going to talk shit. They're still going to be nasty and disgusting. It's unfortunate, but that's the reality of where we are. That's the reality of where we are. Keep continuing to pray for the people in Jamaica. Continue to pray for the people who've been impacted by Hurricane Melissa. Pray that the Americans who are stressing them the fuck out bring their knuckle dragging asses back home. Let them go ahead and come home. Their mamas qualify for benefits. So don't know why these men cap. Yeah, pride will leave you hungry for knowledge and for food. Unprocessed mother issues will have you out in the world abusing women that remind you of your mother. So you're absolutely right, Renee. A lot of these niggas would not have eaten if they were children if it weren't for SNAP. If they mama didn't take that SNAP and go and get them some fucking Spam, rice, and Kool-Aid, they wouldn't have had a fucking meal. They wouldn't have had nothing to eat. And instead of them healing from the trauma of having lived that way, being raised that way, having to grow up that way, what do? They sit down and they type a bunch of shit on the internet where they make fun of other women who need SNAP because they can't hurt their mothers the way that they can other women. It's trauma. It's trauma. Most times lack of empathy comes from trauma. And that's what's happening with these motherfuckers that are out in Jamaica in the middle of a Category 5 hurricane complaining because they can't get no ribs. These are people that wasn't shit in high school. They was never popping. They weren't popping in high school, weren't popping in middle school, probably got to college if any of them went to college and weren't popping there. They were never that bitch. They were never that nigga. They never went through a time. You can't even say they peaked in high school because they've never peaked, period. And so for them, I got a little bit of money. I can't pay for the trip in full, but I can at least pay through Klarna to get there. I can pay through Afterpay to get there. And once I get there, let me take these pictures and let me stun on those hoes that used to call me ugly in high school. It's all trauma response. It's all trauma response. Same things with the white people online that are saying hateful shit about SNAP recipients losing their benefits. White supremacy is rooted in jealousy. White supremacy is rooted in jealousy. I'm going to say it again. White supremacy is rooted in jealousy. And this is not me just saying it, even though I know ancestrally this is true. I've talked to my spirits about it before. Ancestrally, I know this is true. I'm saying this as a sociologist and somebody who's read thoroughly on white supremacy. I know white supremacy is rooted in jealousy. And so when you see white people black people who've always been excellent, who've always been able to make a way out of nothing, who've always looked better than you, who've always been able to make better than you, when you finally see them hit a wall that they can't climb over, what you gonna do? You're gonna take your toothless ass on the internet and you're gonna say every hateful stereotype you ever learned about black women because it's your opportunity to feel good for the first time. Lack of empathy is a trauma response. It is a trauma response. I'm not making this up. It's psychological. You can research it. I love government spelled wrong on purpose cheese that came in the white box. I grew up on King Vitamin cereal. They they're the bootleg Captain Crunch. So my mother was a social worker, and then she also did foster care for a while. And during the time that she did foster care, she did receive food stamps, and she also received WIC. But I don't think that they had government cheese in California. But I do remember us having hella cereal in the house all the time because she got WIC. Um, and that's why I still like Chex to this day. Chex cereal. I like Chex cereal, but I remember eating it along with my siblings because we would get Chex cereal on the WIC. Um, the toothless men, it be the toothless ones. It be the ones without teeth. It be the ones without teeth and stringy hair that got the most to say. But yeah, I call on us as spiritual people to really reflect on our relationship with empathy, to make sure that we're not being hardened by the current circumstances, because it's us. We're the ones who have to temper things right now, and it's not fair. It's a drain. I've heard people say fucked up things, and I would love to pop off right now. I would absolutely love to pop off because of the amount of stress that I feel. But we're the ones that are going to have to anchor ourselves the most in prayer. We're going to have to be the ones to show kindness to our neighbor. I mean that. If you find yourself with a little extra money this month, I know it's tight for everybody, but if you find yourself there, please, and again, I know a lot of people don't like to give to mutual aid things online because they say they don't know where the money is going. That's fine, but you probably know somebody in your community that is struggling. And even if they're too proud to say it, pay attention to the mother who only eats one meal a day, if that, right? Pay attention to the coworker who doesn't eat lunch. Pay attention to people around you. And if once you start to realize that people don't have food like that, give them a grocery gift certificate. You will have no idea how much of a weight that takes off of people's shoulders. It really will help people. Saying we received cheese bricks, it makes the best mac and cheese. I've heard people say that. I've heard people say that government cheese used to make hit in macaroni and cheese. I don't know. I don't think we had that in California. Um, but yeah, it's really important right now. There's an intersection between the internal, the spiritual, and the emotional, and also the external stuff. And people, the way that people are going to numb themselves to the reality of not having control right now is through exerting their superiority complex. It's just a thing that's going to continue. I wish I could say that it's going to die down. Unfortunately, it's only going to get worse. Men are going to get nastier and nastier. They're going to get more predatory. They're going to think it's okay to solicit women who are struggling for sex. I'm not making that up. It's happened before. It just happened 5 years ago. So it's only going to happen again. We're going to see people's traumas get really, really triggered and then lash out on people. Mambo, you can't get your other stripe till you eat a piece, man. Do they even make government cheese anymore? I don't even know if that's a thing that they still. I don't know. I grew up in California. We just didn't have that. Again, we had WIC. And so, like I said, I had Kix cereal and Chex, all that stuff. We always had a ton of milk in the house, but I don't remember having government cheese around. um, so what do we need to do? As spiritual people, what do we need to do? Pray. Prayer. Being a prayer warrior right now is essential, not only to pray for yourself, especially if you are blessed to have full-time work, especially if you are blessed to have a steady income coming in. Pray protection over that so that nothing will take it away from you, because this government is hell-bent on seeing the citizenry broke right now. So pray prayers of protection over your finances. Pray that your spirits put you in a position where you always have enough provision as well as overflow to take care of your neighbor. Pray for other people. Again, once you realize who those people are in your community, in your church, at your job, who don't have enough, who are struggling, pray for them by name. This is a time where it is extremely important for us to pray for our neighbors. It is absolutely essential. If you are somebody that does prosperity work regularly, start incorporating your neighbors into your prosperity work. Because here's the thing: when your neighbors are when your neighbors are poor, that's going to trickle over into you quicker. I hate to say it, it's a reality. When your environment is poor, it's easier for you to become poor. If the people around you are prosperous, prosperity comes to you easily. So this is a time to not be individually rooted. Do prosperity work over your community. Do prosperity work over your neighbor. This is something that we should be doing as spiritual people anyway. But if you need the reminder about how urgent it is and low-key how dangerous it is to not be doing that right now, please remind yourself that it's a necessity in this moment. So prayer, you got to be a prayer warrior right now. Doing guards of protection over your home. That's something essential. When poverty rises, so does crime, so does robbery. There are people that, yeah, they may be hungry in this moment, but they're not going to want to stay hungry. And, you know, what did we see in California when COVID happened? We saw a rise of breaking and entering. So again, I'm not trying to scare people, but be real with yourself about that, right? Check in with yourself about the ways in which you're being triggered right now. Because when we're triggered, we can be nasty. And the last thing we want to do is lose our heart. We don't want to lose our capacity for empathy, right? Because the judgment you put on others, you call that into your life. A lot of the people, like I said earlier, a lot of these men that are couch surfing, a lot of these men who have had nowhere to lay their head that there is their own for the last few months or few years, they're in that position because they're mean, nasty, and disgusting people. They're judgmental people. They're verbally violent people. No one wants to be around them. That's a reality we have to start talking about with abusive men. You know, it's really easy to see homeless men on the street and feel bad for them, and we should, because we shouldn't want to see anybody unhoused. It's really easy to see older men in nursing homes whose families don't come to see them and feel bad for them, but you should ask yourself, why doesn't their family come to see them? And if you stay around long enough and you see them calling the nurses bitches and throwing things at them, you probably come to realize why that happens. When you lack empathy, it catches up to you. I'm going to repeat that. When you lack empathy, it catches up to you. So work on yourself. Check in with yourself. If you're getting triggered, if you feel trauma rising to the surface, check that. Do what you need to do spiritually so that it doesn't make you rude, nasty, and embittered, because that's only going to invite poverty into your life. That's only going to put you in further disconnection from your community. So then that way, when you have a need, because unfortunately it's going to be all of our turns at some point. I hate to say it that way, but I know what I know, and I know what Spirit has told me. Treat people good so that when it becomes your turn, people will take care of you. Some of you guys know that 3 years ago, I was in the position where I had to take custody of my nephew, and I had financial struggle. I'm not ashamed to admit it. I struggled. I went from being a single woman who was able to make things work on their own to now having custody of a traumatized, at that point, 15-year-old boy that needed a lot of care and a lot of resources, and I didn't have it. I didn't have it. But because I treat people good, and because I have a good reputation, and because people know my worth, I was able to rely on community, and we had our needs met. So again, make sure that you are working on yourself. Don't let your traumas rise to the surface and show up as judgment and show up as verbal abuse, because you will end up like that peanut butter toast white lady. You will end up saying mean, nasty, vicious things about people only to 3 days later not have shit to your name. Be careful. That's what we got to do right now, spiritual people. Can we do synchronized prosperity prayers as a collective? Absolutely. If that's something you guys want me to put together as a ritual, let me know. I mean, we do have Rich Spirit that starts in 10 days. Yeah, Rich Spirit starts in about 10 days. But that's for individual prosperity. If you guys want me to do some sort of synchronized prosperity program that's similar to Grace and Gratitude, just let me know. And I'll work with a couple of my godchildren to put something together, and we'll start advertising it. Again, if we offer something like that, we are going to have to charge for our labor. It'll be small, same way as Grace and Gratitude is. Grace and Gratitude is only $15. So we'll probably do it for like $7 or $10 or something like that. But we can, and let me know if that's something you all want. Let me know, and we'll start working on it. We can definitely do something like that. But it's going to require you all's energy, right? But I think synchronized prayer as a collective will be absolutely amazing. But also don't discount the nature of your personal prayer and your own energy and your own ashe. Continue to pray for your community. Continue to pray for the people that you know by name who are struggling. Don't judge them. Don't gossip about them. Do not judge and gossip right now. Pray. Hey, Mambo, I do have a question about Rich Spirit. Should I email or text you? Text me, babe. Text me, baby. You know I'm terrible with email. You know I'm horrible with email. I'll miss it, but I'm always available over text. Okay. So these are some things that we need to do. We also need to think about how we can reclaim our spiritual empathy during this time. That's a necessity. You don't want to lose that. You don't want to get bitter during this time. So just be very mindful of these things. Be careful. Your ability to hold grief and to transform that grief into action is a necessity during this time. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna do it. Y'all know, I'm not gonna cry tonight. When I talk about the fact that domestic violence is rising right now, the same way that it happened right after COVID, I'm not pulling that out my ass. The amount of people just in this last month in my community, clients I work with that are being battered, heartbreaking. I can't tell you how much time throughout the week I spend in tears over the stories I'm hearing and what I'm witnessing. It's a lot. It's a lot. And so I have a responsibility to, rather than to sit and to wallow in that grief and that pain, to transmute it into action. So I say that to you all again as spiritual people. You guys are going to hear some shit. You're going to hear some shit that's going to break your heart. You're going to hear about men who are literally stealing all the resources from their family and leaving their kids and their wives high and dry. You're going to hear stories about men who are upset because they're out of work, and instead of taking a knuckle drag and ask somewhere to find new work, they're just beating their wives and their kids all day. You're going to hear these stories. You're going to hear stories about children running away because their parents don't know how to handle the weight of what they're going through. It is going to break your heart. Do your best to transmute that grief into action. I'm going to teach a charm school lecture. You guys know I try to do one free class for the community every month. My November class is going to be about how to transmute grief into action. I haven't chosen the date yet, but once I have the date chosen, I will definitely start advertising and let you all know. So it will be on either a Monday or a Tuesday here on this channel. You guys know I usually teach at 8 o'clock. But yes, the free charm school lecture for this month is going to be about how to transmute grief into action. Because if there's ever a time that we need that as a community, it is absolutely right now. Okay? The last thing that I want to say about empathy before I open up for readings, if anybody wants one, the reason why I'm giving you pointers on how to cultivate and strengthen your relationship with empathy is because it's a muscle. Empathy is a muscle. Empathy is a muscle. The same way that your own the muscles in your body will atrophy if you don't work them, your muscle for empathy will atrophy. It has to be practiced. It has to be exercised. Okay? And that's why I'm saying, like, check in on your grief, become a prayer warrior, engage in conversations with your neighbors, use your overflow as opposed to using your overflow to flex like them fucking idiots in Jamaica. Use your overflow to bless other people. Those are all things we can do to keep ourselves in the energy of empathy. And even if you don't have extra financial resources right now, where's the Meals on Wheels in your community? Where's the local food bank? Where's the local soup kitchen? Can you go and help pass out plates? Your labor and your joy to people who are without and who are isolated right now makes a world of difference, right? But practice, strengthen your empathy. Hold it in ritual. Hold it in your regimen, in your spiritual practice. So that way it becomes strengthened. Because the more you disengage from your empathy, the more it atrophies. And again, we do not want to become a homosexual. We do not want to become a homeless man. We do not want to become the abandoned elder. We do not want to become, excuse me, oh my God, that's so unladylike, but again, sparkling water. We do not want to become the abandoned elder at the nursing home. And you find yourself in those positions when you don't treat people well. So this is it. That's why I wanted to address this empathy crisis, not just because of how it's isolating and hurting people right now, but because if we don't check ourselves. Because I think most of the people that lack empathy, I can't tell you how many times I've been face to face with people who literally in the middle of gossiping and talking shit about somebody, they'll be like, yeah, because I'm a kind person. I'm a good person. And it's like, no, you're not. No, you're not. Most people who lack empathy don't understand that they lack it. So being accountable, being reflective, those are all things that are extremely, deeply important right now. Okay? It bothers me when people lack it. Like I don't know how to be quiet when I see someone being a jerk. I don't do people who cap. I've been in the face of some of the most disgusting people with some of the most disgusting habits. And they will sit there and be like, yeah, because I'm a kind person. And it's like, dude, there was nothing kind about what you just did or said. You were not a kind person. But most people are in denial about their actions and the impact that their actions have on others. It's really sad. All right, so I hope that this conversation was helpful to people. I'm going to go ahead and pause now for readings. I have a spread that I put together earlier today called the Empathy Healing Spread. So if any of you guys want to do that particular spread just to gain insight into how you need to strengthen your own relationship to empathy or the role of empathy in your life, please feel free to go ahead and send a love offering. I'm also willing to take, I did some astrology-based readings yesterday, and I know that everybody wasn't there yesterday for those. So if you want a full moon reading or a Mercury and Sagittarius reading, I'm happy to do that for you today as well. Or if you just want a general reading, let me know. That's fine. But tonight, you do have to send a minimum love offer of 1111 if you want me to read for you. So we have multiple options. You can get the empathy reading. You can get the astrology readings. Or if you have a specific question that you want insight on, happy to take those. But Nicole, I do see that you sent a love offering for the empathy reading. So I'm going to go ahead and start with you. Hold on. You should put your hat with those ears in your shop. Adults and kids would love them. I like the way you tie your scarves without the ears. Oh, thank you. Thank you for the idea. I'm trying to figure out more things that I can include because I don't have a whole lot of product. I actually only have one product. Well, two if you include my amulets on my website. The thing is that quality really matters to me. And so, like, I don't want to grab a whole bunch of, like, ears from, like, Temu and shit and just mark it up. I want to make sure that I do it right. But thank you. Thank you for the suggestion. I have been thinking, so I have a goddaughter, Lovana. She does enchanted bonnets and enchanted headscarves. And I have been thinking about collaborating with her to sell those through my website. Um, so the scarves may become available at the top of the new year. I don't know, but it is. Thank you, Renee, for bringing that up. That is an idea. All right. Nicole, we're going to do your empathy healing reading. And this, again, it's a 3-card spread. First card is looking at where have you become numb. Second card is the bridge, looking at how can you reconnect without drowning. And then the third card is going to look at how can empathy serve collective healing. Okay? And again, if anybody wants an empathy healing spread, just send your love offering. But if you want another reading done as well, either for astrology, or if you just have a specific question, go ahead and send in your offerings, okay? Ancestors, angels, ascended master spirits to walk with me. What does Nicole need to learn about the role of empathy in her life at this time? Where has she become numb? What is the work that needs to be done? How can she channel her empathy for collective healing? And you with some shares is deeply appreciated. Temu had me in a chokehold. I've never purchased anything off of Temu. I've been deeply tempted, especially as a Hello Kitty girly. I've been very tempted. If you want to send me a set of 6 Hello Kitty teacups for $2, let's get to it. But gratefully, I've been able to control myself and not fall prey to Temu. Temu will have you in a chokehold. It absolutely will. Alrighty. I'm not gonna cry. I feel an urge to cry. So in the first position, Nicole, in terms of where you've become numb with your empathy journey, you have choice paralysis. You don't know where to start in terms of helping people or being empathetic, right? 7 of Cups is a card of choice paralysis. It's overwhelm. It's overwhelm that can lead to either making the wrong choice or being rooted in stagnation. And so for you, the numbness is a result of overstimulation. I think that due to your sensitivity, you have hyper awareness of how difficult things are in the world and for other people. And the numbness for you is about not knowing what to do or where to start, right? In terms of the bridge and how you can reconnect without withdrawing, strategy, right? Instead of dealing with the choice paralysis and the overwhelm for how much is needed in the world in terms of empathy, get strategic. Get strategic so you don't victimize yourself, so you don't drain yourself, so that you don't put yourself in a position of deficit. Start with one small thing and just rock out with that one small thing, that one small commitment. But the more strategic you are about how you show up in terms of empathy, the easier it's going to be for you to navigate and to manage, right? In terms of the ripple effect and how you can serve the collective healing through empathy, we have the Lover's card. I love this. Being kind to your neighbor, loving your neighbor, seeing your neighbor as yourself, right? Gemini energy of the Lover's card is about seeing the twin, right? And that's another thing. I wanted to talk about that earlier, but I didn't want to sound like an old lady. We throw around the word twin, calling other people twin, and then we don't treat people like a twin. We don't treat them like our sister or our brother or our reflection. So for you, the easiest way for you to serve in terms of collective healing is to treat other people like your mirror, to treat other people like your reflection, right? So to summarize this for you, Nicole, yeah, empathy for you, the only numbness you have around empathy is the overwhelm. Things feel so big and there's so much need right now that it's really overwhelming for you. And that overwhelm makes it hard for you to think about what needs to be done. But as long as you can allow yourself to be strategic and remind yourself that you're one person and that it's okay for you to be strategic in who you help, the easier it'll be for you. And the way that you shift the collective energy is by showing up and treating people like they're your twin, showing up and treating people like they're your mirror. That's the easiest way for you to navigate. Okay? My daughter's dad gets her clothes, like outfits, from Temu. The children love Temu. The kids love Temu and they love Shein. And I think because it is so affordable and accessible, and then also like, especially like teenagers who may not have a bank account, it's easy for them to pay for that stuff through Cash App or through PayPal or through TikTok and shit. But the teenagers love Temu and Shein. They absolutely do. Received. Thank you. I'm glad that that message resonated with you, Nicole. Is there anyone else that would like a reading before I wrap up tonight? If not, I'm going to go ahead and just wrap up because I know it is Halloween. Some of y'all want to go out and, show off your costumes or look at other people's costumes or run the streets a little bit. So I'm glad that, Aisha, you want a reading? Okay. Okay, perfect. Go ahead and send your love offering, and I'll do the empathy reading for you as well. I'll just go ahead and jump into it. Ancestors, angels, ascended masters, spirits, and walk with me. Elevated ancestors, what wisdom does Aisha need at this time about her relationship to empathy? Where are the areas where she's gone numb? What can she do to reconnect? How can she tap into an energy that allows for collective empathy? Any wisdom shared is deeply appreciated. And again, if anyone wants an empathy reading, that's dope. If you want another reading, say you didn't get to do the astrology readings from yesterday, or if you just want a general reading, go ahead and send your offering. Yeah, you can have the full moon reading as well, Aisha. I'll do both for you. Absolutely. I'll do the full moon reading after this one for you. So if anyone else wants a full moon reading, Mercury and Sagittarius reading, or if they just have a general question that they want to ask, go ahead and let me know. Put that information in the comments section, okay? So in terms of where you're numb, Aisha, it's you've had some recent struggle in your recent past. You energetically feel like you are still in that struggle. So you haven't fully recovered. Your numbness comes from healing from your recent struggles, not just healing from them, but healing from what may have been a lack of support that you felt. Sometimes it's hard for us to fully give empathy when we know we've been through situations where we weren't given empathy, right? And so because you're kind of still stuck in the old energy of the difficulties you've dealt with, it's like you can look at that over and over again, but it's hard for you to see right next to you the examples of people who may be in your community, even in your family. Spirit is saying in your family, right? That may need some empathy from you right now. So that's where your numbness comes from. It's like residual impact or aftershock impact from some difficulty that you've gone through in the previous months and years. In terms of the bridge and how you can reconnect without drowning, really working with the divine feminine in yourself, right? Tapping into your creativity. For you, there are probably working mothers and women who are drained in your environment. Even if you tried to offer them material resources, their pride wouldn't allow themselves to take it. So for you, it's about creating divine feminine spaces to help women who are overburdened right now. Whether that's trips to the river, a hiking group, but creating experiences for women to come together, the divine feminines to come together and really just tap into comfort right now, because a lot of them are stressed and they don't have it. That is what will not only help you in reconnecting and receiving the empathy that you may have lacked or not received, but it will create an environment where you're helping people and you're pouring empathy into other people, particularly women and mothers who need that right now. For you, in terms of how can you serve, how can your empathy serve collective healing? For you, it's about making small investments, right? And even though the Seven of Pentacles is coming up, it's not about you investing financial money into other people, but really teaching people about how to budget and save right now. You may have wisdom about like couponing and shit that other people don't have, right? You may know where to get certain deals. So helping people think about like what it is that they're doing with their money and how to make their money stretch so that way they still have access to it in the future. That's definitely something that you can really help people with in a way that you can pour into people. My two little sisters who are mothers won't take much or even respond right now. Yeah. So they may not take anything from you, but you can, once a month, you can make a Sunday dinner, right? Have a movie night at your house and make popcorn and, have cookies and stuff and tell them, okay, while we watch this movie, you have to keep your phone off, right? Pour them wine while they just sit there and they get to just be little kids and watch movies without being bothered, right? They're just creating space for them to be in their feminine and to not be stressed, I think is going to be deeply, deeply helpful for them right now. Okay, now the full moon reading. This is for the full moon in Taurus that's going to be coming to us on November 5th. This is the Rooted in Worth reading. Ancestors, angels, ascended masters, spirits that walk with me, elevated ancestors. What does Aisha need to know about the full moon in Taurus? What is the wisdom that this full moon is going to give her? How will it help her further tap into her worth? What are the things that she will have to release? I'm going to let it fall in order to tap into this energy. Any wisdom shared is deeply appreciated. Page of Swords in reverse fell out. If they aren't local or won't physically engage, is there anything I can do with that? Or put my energy elsewhere? You can do it with women locally, but also, so I haven't connected with them in a while, but for those of you who've been watching my lives for a minute, you know that I'm a part of a vampire group, right? Let me explain that. We are not vampires. But I hang out with a collective of women who watch Interview with the Vampire and vampire-themed movies, television shows, because we just like that shit, right? And so we do that over Zoom. We're all across the country, all in different spaces. We do that together in Zoom. So if they're not local, then just pick a day and tell them, okay, on Sunday, I want you to be free for these 3 hours over Zoom. And pick a movie, watch it with them over Zoom, send them some DoorDash so that way they don't have to cook that night, right? Not only do they get the chance to bond with you, even though it's virtually, that small gesture of sending them, a pizza for them and the kids to eat so that they ain't got to cook that night, that's a way that they feel loved on, okay? I remember I had a friend do that for me one day when I was really stressed, I love kids. I thought I wanted to be a mom, and then that 1.5 years of raising my nephew child, it taught me I'm not, I can't do it. But I had a day where I was just so rattled, and one of my homegirls did that. She sent me a I don't know how they do it, but she sent me this thing on Amazon Prime so that I could watch a movie, and then she just had my favorite ramen shop out here delivered to my house. It made me feel so loved and seen. So that's something that you can do for them. Okay. In terms of your full moon message, what is blooming? What has reached fullness or needs to be acknowledged? We have the Wheel of Fortune. So things are shifting for you. And I think I think you know it logically, but you don't fully feel it, right? There's a chapter that you're entering in where things are really about to go into your favor, go in your favor. You're about to have a lot of faded opportunities. And so the moon is really going to reveal that for you. It's going to help you understand that you have to acknowledge that things are really changing for you. And that makes sense too with that Four of Cups from the last one. It's like you still feel energetically in that old energy, even though, Wheel of Fortune, things are really improving in your life and around you. What must be released to stay grounded? There's a lot about your old self and how you hold your old self. There are certain habits you have, particularly relate. I'm not going to say to playing small, but to not fully understanding the weight of your own personal power. And that needs to die, right? That's why the death card is here. You need to release the old way that you see yourself and really allow for a new vision around how you understand and see yourself. Okay. In terms of what new value, hold on, what new value is ready to take root? I'm trying, see, I can't, y'all just got to witness it. I can't multitask for shit because I saw Renee type a few things and then I got distracted. In terms of what new value is ready to take root, we have the Eight of Swords. I think you're going to have an experience as you do your release ritual through the full moon that allows you to see in the days after how easy you fall prey to catastrophic thinking, right? So what's clear to me, not just from this reading, but from the last one, right now there's like, it's almost like your Ori is catching up with where you are energetically, if that makes sense. So you still have a lot of fear-based thinking. You still kind of expect the worst. And so this full moon is going to put you in a position to be further in alignment so that you can release the catastrophic thinking. Because again, with all this opportunity that's coming to you, the last thing that you want to do is put yourself in a position where the fear-based thinking works against the new opportunities that are coming your way. So this full moon is really going to highlight that for you. It's going to highlight the ways in which you engage in catastrophic thinking. It's going to help you release that so that you can show up in a much more empowered way. And it's preparing you for the new blessings that are to come. The card that fell out in reverse is the Page of Swords. So again, Page of Swords is somebody who's learning how to not talk bad about themselves, how to not be self-deprecating, how to not overshare information about themselves to the wrong people. And with this being in reverse, it's saying that you kind of still do that shit. But again, the full moon is really going to help you have concrete insights in real time because that's the thing that's hard for people in terms of breaking habits. You can say these things, but if they don't know what it looks like when they're doing it in real time, it's hard to stop it. But the full moon is going to show you what it looks like concretely, and it's going to make it easier for you to move differently. I'm glad that resonated with you, and I'm glad that made sense. All right, before I wrap up for the night, is there anyone else that would like a reading? Let me read Renee's comments really quickly since I got distracted. Have you ever watched Katie Wilson redo Twilight series? No. Sanidra, I haven't watched it, but I'll check it out. I'm not a Twilight girly. I know you ain't talking about January 5th nephew. Do not do him. He can't help his Capricorn. No, January 5th nephew is a little baby. He's little. The nephew that I used to care for was a Cancer. He was a July baby. So no, I wasn't talking about him. So I think you guys already know this. I'm one of 10 kids, and I have dozens of nieces and nephews. So I can imagine sometimes it may confuse y'all because one moment I'm talking about the one that's 17, and then the next moment I'm talking about the 5-year-old, and then the next moment I'm talking about the literal baby, like the infant or the toddler. So I apologize. I have a huge family, but no, I wasn't talking about that when I was talking about the Cancer. All righty. If there is no one else that would like a reading for tonight, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up so that everybody can have their Halloweens to themselves. If you're going out tonight, Be safe, be careful, be responsible. I would say don't do anything I wouldn't do, but I don't know if that's a good barometer for you guys. But just be safe and be careful. If you're somebody that typically sleeps with your windows open, try not to do that until after the 4th. And I'll just say that. If you are going to be honoring All Saints Day or Fetgede, happy All Saints Day, happy Fetgede, happy Dia de los Muertos. Make sure that you're giving something beautiful and delicious to your ancestors this weekend. I hope you honor them in the ways in which they deserve and that sustain and fulfill you and bring you wisdom. Love you all. Thank you for joining me on this Friday night. And I will see you all on Sunday for the weekly energy reading. Take care.